Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
This is file number 22529FY, People versus Bradley James McKenzie. Mr. McKenzie, I'm Judge Middleton. I'm here with the public defender, Mr. Keith Stickley. Back in February of 2022, you were charged with possession of methamphetamine as a second or subsequent offense as a second offender, which is make it theoretically punishable by up to 40 years imprisonment. Matter was reduced to a misdemeanor charge of use of methamphetamine, and you were placed on probation. You also had an auto theft charge that was over at circuit court. I'm not sure what the status of that is.
That's done with. I got sentenced on that, and they.
All right. I gave you 91 days jail credit 1 and put you on a methamphetamine deferral, and it didn't go very well.
Well, sir,
your probation agent, Autumn Kiefer, filed a probation violation petition alleging that you failed to submit for testing and you failed to test on October 11th, October 13th, October 17th, 19th, 25th, 27th, November 3, November 8, November 11, and November 15 of 22. We set a arraignment on that probation violation for December 2nd, December 7th, and you failed to appear in December of 2022. And I issued a bench warrant for your arrest. So this probation didn't go very well. You also have a number of other charges. How did you get arrested last night?
No, on Friday or on Saturday.
All right, and where was that?
Berrien County. Sir, I just started school. I've been clean for almost a year. I did rehab. That's why I missed a lot of that, my probation and stuff. I stopped going because she told me she was going to violate me for going to rehab, and I was scared. But I've got almost a year clean. I start school on the 29th, my trade school. I just got my GED. I'm doing the best I've ever done. I did probation in Kalamazoo County years ago, and it took me 8 years clean. If there's any way we can continue the probation, please, sir. Please.
Well, I may not be your big problem. You've also got an operating while intoxicated from 2023, possession of fentanyl, possession of methamphetamine, which is 23614. I think you've been AWOL since that. Let's look at that.
I went to rehab the next day. I had OD'd and I went to rehab the next day, and I've been clean since.
Okay, good. That's very helpful. Running and hiding from your problems is not the solution.
Oh, I know it's not. I never ran before. I've never had a problem. I've never ran before. She told me she was going to violate me for going to rehab, I just started school. I just got my GED. I started trade school on the 29th. I'm doing the best I've ever done, really.
Well, I'm sorry.
If there's any way you can have mercy,
please. Would somebody get out of Bradley McKenzie? Mr. McKenzie, there are consequences in life, and you got some serious consequences. I gave you 91 days credit 1, cut you a huge break, and you didn't do what I asked you to do, and then you went AWOL for almost 2 years. In the meantime, you got charged with a drunk driving felony charge, unless I can't get in it. So
I don't know what that's about. I don't drink. I don't know what that's about.
Well, it's probably drugs. let me find it. Somebody's in the file. I can't get into it. So let me look for it another way. The magistrate's gonna see you in that case.
Sir, if we could continue
What were you doing
probation.
in Berrien County?
I was going with a friend to a casino. They had a free room for the night. I'm begging you, if we could please continue probation, please. I promise you, I'll do this successfully.
Well, if I
Please.
gave you a drug test right now, what would be in it?
Nothing, I'm clean. Marijuana, I got my medical card. I mean, I have, so I would be positive for marijuana.
All right, well, this one is not good. December 10th of 2022, after you kind of went AWOL on mine, you got a new methamphetamine charge, possession of fentanyl as second or subsequent offense, another methamphetamine, and operating a vehicle on Broadway while under the influence of a controlled substance.
That's right before I went to rehab. I went kind of crazy there for a while, I know. I did probation successfully in Kalamazoo County. I was clean for 8 years. It kept me clean. I can do probation successfully. I promise you. I promise I can. I'm begging you, if you can please continue my probation. Let me.
I suspect if I tested you right now, I'd be positive for something. I'm thinking methamphetamine. In that case, you had 12 bottles of Coors Light,
Coors Light.
methamphetamine, fentanyl.
I don't even
You were
drink.
passed
Sir.
out behind the wheel of your car.
I don't drink.
Well, I'm not sure what your blood alcohol level was.
I don't. That was the day before I went into rehab. I went into rehab the next day.
Well, good.
I'm begging you, if we could please continue probation, please.
Will you stop?
Sorry.
You bugged out on my probation where I gave you 1 day and you 93 days. Now you tell me how wonderful you are and you haven't done anything and you're clean. All right, so you got that. You got this other bad drunk driving case where you got fentanyl, methamphetamine in your possession. You're a habitual offender and you're on abscond status. You get arrested in Berrien County, go into a casino to crash somewhere for the night. None of this sounds real encouraging. You're not employed. You got some vague idea about trade school. You owe me 90 days. I gave you 91 days credit one, which was a gift, which was a habitual felony case reduced to a misdemeanor. You paid me back by doing a very poor job on probation and absconding. So I'm not feeling real charitable right now. And I don't believe you that you're going to test negative for, I think you're either about to go through opioid withdrawal or you're dealing with meth. Are you going to go through withdrawal?
No.
All right, well, that's a plus. I'm gonna set a PV hearing. Your original attorney was Timothy George. Set the hearing as soon as I can. The magistrate's gonna see you a little later this afternoon on those charges. No bond. Gonna do with this PV hearing. Where did you do your rehab?
Gilmore.
Are you in an aftercare program?
No, I've been out for, I've been out of rehab for quite a while.
Do you do NA or AA or anything?
I go to AA once a week. NAAA in Vicksburg.
Do you still have the Michigan Avenue address in Mendon?
Yes.
Are you working?
I'm not, I just started school. I'm starting school.
Have you worked?
Yeah, I was working at I worked at American Axle, and then I worked at hold on, what's Stryker up in Kalamazoo.
Well, those are two great jobs. What happened to the striker job?
They said I failed my background test. That's probably because of this.
Well, they found there were 2 open warrants for your arrest. So you never actually worked there?
No, I did. I worked there for almost for over 6 months.
Well, that's too bad. All right. I'll set this up as soon as I can. Now, on the felony charges, they're going to arraign you and set a bond. They're going to appoint an attorney for you and set a pre-exam conference. You were in a very bad place to be a drunk driver, which is 131 and Broadway.
I don't know what that is. I have no idea. I was never drunk. I don't drink.
Well, you were passed out behind the wheel is the allegation.
That's before I went to rehab.
And there's some very serious charges, like 40-year maximum, possession of methamphetamine, possession of fentanyl, operating while intoxicated as a habitual third offender. Broadway and 131, yeah, not a very good spot. The allegation is that this was in December of 2022. You're already on abscond status for me at that point. They were taking somebody to jail and they came upon you and you were in a altered state. You were in a Toyota in the right turn lane of eastbound Broadway, slumped over the wheel. The exterior lights and interior dash lights were on with an alarm emitting from the interior of the vehicle. Brake lights were on. And I think it was in park. They had trouble waking you up.
Yeah, that's the day before I
confused. Medical staff, Tony Clark, he said that he had previously treated McKenzie for a drug overdose. Probable cause search warrant found 12 uncapped and empty bottles of Coors Light, a bag of marijuana, methamphetamine, your blood alcohol was 0.0, so you weren't drunk, but the allegation is you were on these other things. They did take your blood.
That's the day before I went to rehab. I went to rehab the very next day.
Okay, well, that's good. We'll take that into account. Anyway, the magistrate will see you later. I'm going to set this as soon as I can set it. You're not going to miss work. When is your start date for school?
29th.
What is it?
What is it? It's Pinnacle Trade School.
Where is that?
It's out of Kansas. I have to do a 6 months online, and then I do a 2-week training course in Kansas.
What trade?
To be a communications tower technician.
All right. Okay, I'll see you as soon as I can see you. The magistrate will see you this afternoon. I'd really like a drug test.